Nisargadatta Maharaj was a great Jnani, born Maruti Shivrampant Kamabli. He was a Hindu guru of non-dualism, belonging to the Inchagiri Sampradaya, a lineage of teachers from the Navnath Sampradaya and Lingayat Shaivism. Nisargadatta was born on 17 April 1897 to Shivrampant Kambli and Parvati Bai, in Bombay. The day was also Hanuman Jayanti, the birthday of Hanuman, hence the boy was named Maruti after him. His parents were followers of the Varkari Sampradaya, an egalitarian Vaishnavite bhakti tradition which worships Lord Vithal. His father worked as a domestic servant in Mumbai and later became a petty farmer in Khandalgaon. Maruti was brought up in Khandalgaon, a small village in the Sindhudurga district of Maharashtra, with his two brothers, four sisters and deeply religious parents. In 1915, after his father died, he moved to Bombay to support his family back home, following his elder brother. Initially he worked as a junior clerk at an office, but quickly he opened a small goods store, mainly selling BDs, leaf-rolled cigarettes, and soon owned a string of 8 retail shops. In 1924 he married Sumati Bai and they had 3 daughters and a son. In 1933, he was introduced to his guru, Siddharameshwar Maharaj, the head of the Inchagiri branch of the Navnath Sampradaya, by his friend Yashwantrao Bagkar. His guru told him, "You are not what you take yourself to be." Master initiated him into the Inchagiri Sampradaya, giving him meditation instruction and a mantra, which he immediately began to recite. Master gave Nisargadatta instructions for self-inquiry which he followed, he himself recounted later. "My Guru ordered me to attend to the sense, I am, and to give attention to nothing else. I just obeyed. I did not follow any particular course of breathing, or meditation, or study of scriptures. Whatever happened, I would turn away my attention from it and remain with the sense, I am. It may look too simple, even crude. My only reason for doing it was that my Guru told me so. Yet it worked." Following his Guru's instructions to concentrate on the feeling, I am, he used all his spare time looking at himself in silence, and remained in that state for the coming years, practicing meditation and singing devotional bhajans. He used to say, "My Guru told me, go back to that state of pure being, where the I am is still in its purity before it got contaminated with I am this or I am that. Your burden is of false self-identifications, abandon them all. My Guru told me, trust me, I tell you, you are divine. Take it as the absolute truth. Your joy is divine, your suffering is divine too. All comes from God. Remember it always. You are God, your will alone is done." I did believe him and soon realized how wonderfully true and accurate were his words. I did not condition my mind by thinking, I am God, I am wonderful, I am beyond. I simply followed his instruction, which was to focus the mind on pure being, I am, and stay in it. I used to sit for hours together, with nothing but the I am in my mind, and soon the peace and joy and deep all-embracing love became my normal state. In it all disappeared, myself, my Guru, the life I lived, the world around me. Only peace remained, and unfathomable silence. After an association that lasted hardly 2.5 years, Siddharameshwar Maharaj died on 9 November 1936. In 1937, Maharaj left Mumbai and travelled across India. After 8 months he returned to his family in Mumbai in 1938. On the journey home his state of mind changed, realizing that nothing was wrong anymore. He spent the rest of his life in Mumbai, maintaining one shop to earn an income. Between 1942 and 1948 he suffered two personal losses, first, the death of his wife, followed by the death of his daughter. He was so rooted in the self that anything didn't affect him. He started to give initiations in 1951 after a personal revelation from his guru. After he retired from his shop in 1966, Nisargadatta Maharaj continued to receive and teach visitors in his home, giving discourses twice a day, until his body died on 8 September 1981, at the age of 84, of throat cancer. Maharaj Ji gave talks and answered questions at his humble flat in Khetwadi, Mumbai, where a room was created for him to receive disciples and visitors. This room was also used for daily chantings, bhajan, meditation sessions, and discourses. The Inchagiri Sampradaya emphasized mantra meditation from its inception in the early 19th century, but then the emphasis shifted toward a form of self-inquiry with Sri Siddharameshwar. Nevertheless, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj still gave mantra initiation, with the underlying point being that the mantra was more than sound, it was the Absolute itself which could be reverberated throughout life in all circumstance. Maharaj Ji adopted a different mode of instruction, through questions and answers, for his Western disciples. Many of Maharaj's talks were recorded, and formed the basis of I Am That as well as of the several other books attributed to him. Maharaj's only subject was, our real identity is the birthless, deathless, infinite, eternal absolute awareness, or Parabrahman, and its play of universal consciousness. For Maharaj, our only problem is a case of mistaken identity. We presume to be an individual, and, originally and fundamentally, we are not an individual, we are intrinsically always and only the Absolute. Maharaj Ji explains, the life force, prana and the mind are operating of their own accord, but the mind will make you believe that it is you who is doing it. Therefore understand always that you are the timeless, spaceless witness. And even if the mind tells you that you are the one who is acting, don't believe the mind. The mind and body which are functioning have come upon your original essence, but you are not that apparatus. The Absolute could be regained by a radical disidentification from the dream of me and my world, by intensely meditative self-inquiry, or Atma, Vichara, and supreme wisdom knowledge, Vigyan or Jnana. I know only Atma Yoga, which is self-knowledge, and nothing else. My process is Atma Yoga, which means abidance in the self. Maharaj Ji was critical of a merely intellectual approach to non-dual truth. He had a strong devotional zeal towards his own guru, and suggested the path of devotion, Bhakti Yoga, to some of his visitors, as he believed the path of knowledge, Jnana Yoga, was not the only approach to truth. Maharaj Ji also emphasized love of Guru and God, and the practice of mantra repetition and singing bhajans, devotional songs. He taught what has been called Nisarg Yoga. Nisarg can be translated as our natural state. In I Am That, Nisarg Yoga is defined as living life with harmlessness, friendliness, and interest, abiding in spontaneous awareness while being conscious of effortless living. The practice of this form of yoga involves meditating on one's sense of I am, being, or consciousness, with the aim of reaching its ultimate source prior to the sense, which Maharaj Ji called the self. This dwelling on the sense, I am, is the simple, easy and natural yoga, the Nisarg Yoga. There is no secrecy in it and no dependence, no preparation is required and no initiation. Whoever is puzzled by his very existence as a conscious being and earnestly wants to find his own source, can grasp the ever-present sense of I am, and dwell on it assiduously and patiently, till the clouds obscuring the mind dissolve and the heart of being is seen in all its glory. He did not prescribe a specific practice for self-knowledge but advised his disciples, don't pretend to be what you are not, don't refuse to be what you are. By means of self-inquiry in the tradition of Advaita Vedanta, he advised, why don't you inquire how real are the world and the person? Maharaj Ji frequently spoke about the importance of having the inner conviction about one's true nature, and without such self-knowledge one would continue to suffer. He claimed that the names of the Hindu deities Shiva, Rama and Krishna were the names of our natural state, Nisarg personified, and that all of life arises from the same non-dual source or self. Remembrance of this source was the core of Maharaj's message. You are not your body, but you are the consciousness in the body, because of which you have the awareness of I am. It is without words, just pure beingness. It has become soul of the world. In the absence of your consciousness, the world will not be experienced. Hence, you are the consciousness, remember what you have heard, meditate on it. Meditation means you have to hold consciousness by itself. The consciousness should give attention to itself. This consciousness is Ishwar. As there is no God other than this consciousness, worship it. The knowledge, I am, is God. It is Ishvara, as well as Maya. Maya is God's power. All the names of God are of this consciousness only in different forms. Remember the fact, I am not the body, and get firmly established. That is the sign of a true seeker. He gave 7 principles in Nisarg Yoga, which are non-identification and right understanding, interest and earnestness, spontaneity and effortlessness, attentiveness to being, right action, going within to go beyond, awareness of self. What a great being he was! No one has to renounce his family or house for this practice. Anyone can do it anywhere. Yet it is the highest teaching, which was given by Shankaracharya, Ramana Maharshi and many others. We bow down to this great being.